All right, guys, welcome back to the live show. Hopefully, everyone is doing all right. Everyone can hear me okay. Rocking some new headsets and mics, so should be better than last time. We got a couple of videos lined up, of course, for you. Different, all sorts of different types, actually. We got some Bigfoot related stuff, some Dogman related stuff, some AI stuff, some hoax and stuff, a little bit of paranormal stuff we got going, and some other stuff that's related to the subject of searching for Bigfoot and searching for other cryptids that might be in the neck of your woods and neighborhood. I believe I have all the videos lined up and ready to go. But yeah, so hopefully everyone's doing good. Shout out to Daniel Weeks for being the first one and waiting. All right, make this. All right. So, should we get started first or start first? Well, there's a variety of stuff when you talk about hoaxing, and generally it's the full blown, this person's hoaxing on purpose, legitimately, and plotting it out. And then you have other people who are nonchalantly posting bushes and drawing circles and saying there's Bigfoot, and then claiming that there's stuff in it and that there is the story behind it, mind speak, whatever the heck. They are hoaxing and stuff. Now, sometimes the people who are doing that, sometimes they believe their own lies, or sometimes they, they're not making it up because they honestly believe what they are seeing in the photographs that they take, even though there's nothing there. And so they, are kind of hoaxing in a way. I would say it's more of a delusional falsehood, and they're spreading it and trying to make people drink the Kool-Aid. I think the community deals more with people who have issues with, being lonely, don't have any friends, don't have any social life, don't have any family. So they gravitate towards finding Bigfoot, having evidence, being popular, being talked to, having stories on these Facebook groups, on these forums, on these videos, in these comments, and it gives them a real sense of life. And so, these people come up with fantasies that they believe are real, and then they share them with other people. And then when they get called out on them, to them, it is full-blown attacks, and it is being, mean-spirited and rude and stuff, because sometimes to them, they are not lying. To them, they're not hoaxing. To them, it's not false. To them, they're discovering shadows that turn into Sasquatches and stuff. As we will take a look right here, if you can see the drawn cryptid right here in this picture. And so people legitimately will post this stuff of nothing but leaves, and look and find faces, pareidolia, they'll draw stuff to help people see and draw circles, and they truly believe what they are seeing is a shape-shifting Bigfoot, cryptid, or Dogman, whatever. And these people might have mental disorders. Maybe they have traumatic brain damage. Maybe they have issues that slow them down mentally. They're not able to process things. They love storytelling. They fall into this sort of fantasy, I would say almost role playing, where they get a sense of they become, you find Bigfoot evidence, you find, and you can see a lot of photographs like this being spread around. You find they get into this character of a Bigfoot researcher, and they find evidence, and they get into a good group of like-minded individuals who don't know any better, and they become friends. And then it's kind of a touchy subject for some people because a lot of people don't want to go after those kind of individuals, and why should you? Because they're not up to the mental capabilities of other people, and they shouldn't really be called out as hoaxers, but they do need to be recognized as spreading falsehoods or false data or not non-reality stories, descriptions when they present findings or they present evidence and stuff. And so I think a lot of the community is dealing with that, and so sometimes people people, what should we do with those kind of individuals? Because they can be really nice people, but they're spreading hoaxes and falsehood and fake pictures that are supposed to be Bigfoot. And so like this, are we supposed to accept that this is a Bigfoot right here in the middle of the picture? You can see where they drew it, what they were saying with the arms and everything. This is not reality. This is not acceptable for the standards of the evidence that I personally want to attain and have when we send to experts or scientists, or when we actually get a recognized or more, let's say, official groups start going into our communities and looking for researchers or individuals who might have areas and properties where they potentially have evidence, and they want to show off to these scientists or experts. It's not going to be reliable to allow these falsehoods to at least be spread without some kind of warning label on them or on those type of people. Just like this is it's actually one we're about to talk about. And it's the same kind of thing, people. Okay, well, you kind of sound like a hater right now, so, which is fine and stuff. That's your opinion, you're right. What I really want to get at is, when you call out hoaxers and you call out people like this person has described this as a Dogman, and I thought I captured the what the comment was of the post was, but I guess I didn't. I only saved the picture. Anyways, you can clearly tell this is a dog on a deck, and but people, this person posted this as a Dogman, and is putting that out there, and there are people in the comments who believe it or claim they are believing it, made comments. And, I have to wonder if some of those people just are not up to mental standards to where they can't discern if this is a real dog, if this is a Dogman, if this is photoshopped, if they won't use their brains for common sense of saying, oh, it's on a deck, right? They just see this picture and automatically it's blurry, looks like a Dogman, and some of these people honestly believe it. And this is why a lot of this crap gets spreaded, because a lot of people, for whatever reason, they believe it or they accept it. I think a lot of people accept it because, they're friends with other people and friends with people who spread junk, and they don't like to call out other people. But I think there's a small population in the community that are tricked by this stuff, that believe in the lies that they tell themselves, that believe in the shadows that they capture in the woods. And then when you call them out and stuff, it's not really like calling out like a Rick Dyer. It's not really like calling out the Squatch Watchers and stuff, where people, these are people who are struggling in life, who probably don't have many friends, or and I think, some people have noted that when they find out that they're calling out these kind of individuals of the background of who they are, they don't want to. They feel bad, I think Case in point is the tall ones in his latest videos and stuff of basically having pretty much an individual who believes in their own facts and stuff, and there's no way to categorize them the same as you would actually an active hoaxer who knowingly is doing it on purpose to hoax, or as a person who really will make mistakes and believes their own facts, believes the shadows of everything and stuff. So there is a small population that spread their own evidence that do that, and there's a small population that will eat up every single evidence that you throw at them because they're, for whatever reason, there's a multitude of different reasons that they just are not really all there. It might be a touchy subject, but it's the truth. There's a small population in our community that functionally and stuff, they might be a little slow, and they are eating up whatever garbage gets thrown out there, whatever story gets thrown out there. And then they begin to do their own research, and they begin to take pictures of the woods and to spread their own evidence of nothing. It's delusional. It's delusion because they're out there. Honestly, some of them think that they're taking pictures of Bigfoot, invisible cloaked Bigfoot, that when they look, they can find the faces in the leaves, These people honestly believe this. Now, they're not lying. They're not hoaxing in the sense that they're deliberately lying and misleading people on purpose. These people honestly believe that this is what they're capturing. They honestly believe it to the point where if they took a lie detector test, they'd probably pass it. And, usually when I'll show examples of this and stuff, I don't really call these people out by name and stuff. I don't expose them on these groups or anything like that. But if it seems like an individual is just over the top storytelling and doesn't seem like they're in this category of they can't tell the difference between reality, I don't call them out, but if they can tell the difference and stuff, I might show names and stuff. But it's a pretty touchy subject because these people are honestly most of the time really good people, really good, friendly people, would be your friend, get the shirt off your back. But at the same time, they're putting out this stuff. They're telling evidence that I've heard evidence stuff like they got they were getting brutally assaulted by a male human, and a Dogman rescued that woman and carried her off and protected her and blah blah blah. And this person is spreading it and stuff and might honestly believe it to the point where coping mechanism, mental issues going on. And this is a side of the community that is not really talked about, but let's face it, you see it on these groups, you see it from these individuals, you see it from these people posting this crap. They seem like they're drinking their Kool-Aid pretty heavily. They believe it. They believe their own bull crap. They'll go out in the woods. Yeah, they'll have activity every single time because to them, a little bird, a little squirrel, whatever, anything that happens, it's Bigfoot. They take pictures of a bush and Bigfoot appears. It's not deliberate hoaxing, but it is false evidence. It is false data, because if someone hears that story and says, oh, that's an interesting Bigfoot story, and they write that down, and then all of a sudden they go repeat that story, and then it gets repeated, and then all of a sudden researchers, oh, yeah, okay, well, and they categorize that. Now it's on like the Bigfoot mapping project and stuff. Well, that's a whole set of false data. That's not even reality. So now you're just spreading falsehood and spreading data. And that data can get mixed in with real data that actually needs to be kept and actually needs to be truthful. So then we have an accurate picture when we, put it on the Bigfoot mapping project and you look at all the data that they have. you want to make sure that every single data that you display or whatever is truthful. It's not false. It's not coming from a person who believes in leaves faces that are Bigfoot and stuff. You want reliable information. If we have a whole dictionary and map and all this information on thousands of stories that are fake that tell us Bigfoot does this and Bigfoot does that, it's not real. So no, it's not telling us anything. And so this is a pretty touchy subject, but at the same time, what do we do to these people who are doing this? Do we just give them a free pass and let the information and evidence mix in muddy our waters of the real deal information, the real deal stories, where we can categorize the real deal evidence? A real story told by a real eyewitness, someone who actually seen it or actually witnessed stuff encounter, is so valuable that you could, what did the Bigfoot do? What time, temperature, habitat, what was the person doing? To figure out what was going on in that situation. If you try to do that with a false story, you're going to get nothing. And every single thing you pull out of it is false, fake stuff that if you add it to, I learned this about Bigfoot, it's completely made up. And it affects everything down the line. You might not see it as, it's not that big of a issue. This person's just storytelling. Let them just storytell. It's like, okay, they have some mental issues and stuff. It's like, yeah, I get that. But at the same time, that story might get telephoned along to other people who take it and put it into a book. And this might be a reliable researcher who liked that story and couldn't really verify it and where it came from, but it came from, a buddy of his that he trusted, who, it came from one of his buddies and his buddies and blah, 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 blah. They heard it on an interview or they heard it wherever. It's spreading false information, and it eventually might affect real researchers and real audience members and people who just really want to learn the real stuff and not fake bullshit. That, to be honest, you hear a fake story, you might try to do something that was told in the story, and it's not real. So it is touchy because, you don't want to call out certain individuals who might be lacking mentally because it's not exactly the same as going after the Squatch Watchers or a Rick Dyer or a Colorado Bigfooter who are actively hoaxing and doing all this. But, people who have big channels who are storytelling or remote viewing cryptids and pictures and can tell you all the stories and all this and all that, that some of that is just full, at that point, it's like at the big screen level, like, everyone's watching and there's thousands of views and a lot of comments and no one's calling it out. Then you have, going on this network and then this YouTube network. And now you're spreading all this bullshit on supposedly real deal channels and real deal networks. And it's just like, that is not something that in the long run is going to help us. In the short run, it sounds good ratings, good views. I could have a couple good interviews with some people that would get a lot of views, but the person on there would be just telling you a fake ass story. And just because that person might be very nice and a lot of people like them and it would do good for my channel, I personally just am not going to do that. I'm not going to allow someone to bullshit you on here with, I'm going to remote view whatever the fuck you can and magically come up with the answers. They can't really be proven and stuff, but I just don't like some of that stuff. I don't like the fake Bigfoot stuff. Everyone has a phone. Everyone could download an app and start doing fake AI storytelling. It's not hard. Fake emails. Someone sent me an email. But, I do think that it should be acknowledged that even though people might have slow faculties when they're presenting stuff, maybe we shouldn't bash them into oblivion or call them out and really have a mob mentality come at them, because sometimes just because some person alerts the people of the community of, oh, this person's hoaxing or presenting bad information, you know, a lot of individuals in the community do everything on their own and stuff. So just because you don't feel like it's bashing, the other person might take it a whole nother level, might really start bashing that person. And sometimes, you know, these people who can't really handle it and stuff, it really affects them. And, you know, is it, you know, it's not as big a deal, I guess, as some of the more charismatic, really hardcore hoaxers are dedicated to it. But at the same time, it will affect the data eventually. People taking data, or people writing stories, people gathering information, or doing mapping and stuff. We should call out these people, but I don't think we should bash them. We should acknowledge that this person is just falsehood, you know. It should be known as that. So I kind of think, yeah, I don't know what kind of approach that would be, but because there's so many out there, especially in the Facebook groups, whole groups where the whole person created it and all the administrators are pushing this delusion of it's a fine line of if they actually believe the bullshit they're pushing, if they know they're pushing it and they're like, you know, or they honestly believe it, and all of a sudden, you know, they're taking pictures of bushes and everything's face, everything's Bigfoot, and it's real. All of a sudden they start getting talked to. Those are the people I really find interesting, because you claim that you're getting mind speak and stuff, and you claim you can talk to the Bigfoot and you can make stuff happen. You know, that is the most, you know, how much bullshit, how much of that do you believe versus, and there are people who take advantage of these people, of these slower people who believe everything. They're able to manipulate these people in a way, I'm not a psychologist. I'm sure Leon and other people who are in that field could give you the terminology and stuff. But basically, these people are able to storytell and manipulate people in real time, even in the field, to where, oh, I'm hearing Bigfoot, or the Bigfoot's telling me this and stuff, and then something happens over here, and it will collaborate with what the mind speak person is influencing on everyone. And people in the field will actually be influenced live as stuff is happening, even though there's nothing happening, because of that one person who's able to manipulate the mindset of these weak-minded people, really. And it's really sad, but it's a fact. And I've seen it in the groups. I've been around people in the field who've kind of have tried to do it to other people. I've even you know, grew up having certain situations, you know, being kids of just a basic manipulator, trying to influence people and lying and storytelling and actively just trying to, I don't know how to describe it. I mean, I don't have my doctorate in all this and stuff. I'm sure one of these better people out there and stuff. I know I say Leon because I know that's what he actually does and stuff. So, but basically, these people are able to Stockholm syndrome these weaker-minded people into believing live in the field, or these stories, or come contact me, call me about your Bigfoot problems, and you call this person, you talk to them about you having Bigfoot on your property, and that person that you called is going to mind speak to the Bigfoot on your property, and all of a sudden everything's going to click, and this person is amazing. This person is actually speaking to the Bigfoot because she's able to, like what palm readers and psychics do, pick up what you're saying and stuff and relay information based off of the stuff that you say to try to guess and manipulate you to actually believe that she's right. And it's one of those things that it's flooded with this in this community. It's a sad thing, but it's a thing that it's a fact. You look at some of these wacky groups, these woo groups mostly, because sometimes sometimes for a lie to succeed, sometimes the most fantastical lies are the best because they are, for some reason, they just work on these people. I can mind speaking. You look around, this happens. There's certain groups where this stuff is really happening every single day. These people believe it, whether they want to, whether they know it's like, well, this is bullshit and kind of fake child's play imagination games with this person. They still take the Kool-Aid. They still jump, play the games with the influencer, I would say, that is able to manipulate, especially the mind-speaking people who are able to communicate with your Bigfoot on your property, and then you are believing this person, and then now you're taking instruction from this person on what to do. And then you tell them the results, and then she tells you what the fuck that means, like a fortune teller type of thing. That is it's a very it's a weird niche in the community, but there are individuals, like I said, who, well, they're not actively hoaxing as my definition. They are spreading this falsehood, this false data, false story, false evidence, and it is fake, and they 100% believe it. But to call out this person, to have the whole mob attack them because, oh, he's hoaxing, might drive this individual to shatter their whole life. I mean, to be honest, humans are fragile. Not everyone is strong-minded. Not everyone is strong enough to handle pressure on them from, let's say, a community that is their only community. I mean, if you shun a person out of a community, that's the only community they have. That's the only friends they have. That's the only life they have. You could drive them to, well, take their own life. Honestly, that it would be the ultimate worst thing that could happen by calling out people in the Bigfoot community, because weak-minded individuals, that is their whole life. And if you shatter their reality, even though it's not reality, it's their reality. And ultimately, you could shatter them and their absolute reality at home. And I think, when you call out people, there has to be, I think there should be a note on whether or not this person is either mentally all there or not. I'm just brutally honest. Let's just put it that way, because there's some people, I'm not going to name names, but they are telling these stories because of traumatic events that have happened to them. And they have a lot of friends. They're the nicest people in the world. They would give you the shirt off their back. They would drive across the whole state to pick you up, to drive you back home, type of people and stuff. So we should recognize that it's not reality that they are about, but it's their reality, and it is their world, and it is a community for them, and it is their recovery from whatever events. And that is a fact, and that is a small niche in the community, and it is dominated by people who are drinking Kool-Aid, who are taking pictures of leaves, taking pictures of bushes and drawing faces, and will believe it. Sometimes they will honestly even knowingly hoax their own shit, but then just believe it because they are in this community and they see the evidence from everyone else, and they want to be part of it. They want to be the person who's having the evidence. They want to feel cool. They want to feel important. They want to feel welcomed in the community. It's just important, because sometimes that's it. That's all they have in their life outside of this community, outside of their friends on here. Their life is probably shit. Their life is probably not that good. Their life is not as it is when they're with their friends on the community and stuff, when they're spreading their evidence. And and these people probably do go camping and stuff, but at the same time, they're not really trained. They're not really all there. They're not really trying to learn. They're just, they're doing the thing, right? I think like Brent says, they're kind of on their journey or whatever type of thing. And yeah, I think that it's kind of one of those touchy subjects. How do we go about this? And so I think it's good. I don't know. It's just people should be called out for doing hoaxes and stuff, but at the same time, they shouldn't be hounded on if they can't help it, and they just really can't help it. And it comes down to that. You want to be human about it, and so that's kind of my thoughts on that. And like the Tall One's latest video and update video on that whole situation. It's kind of pretty much one of those things. And yeah, which when you realize that and stuff, you want to be, you don't want to be an asshole to people. Like I said, you can shatter the whole fucking person's life, but over Bigfoot and stuff too. So I am all for being fucking strict hard on evidence and stuff, but at the same time, it's you don't want to break anyone to the point of where they're just ruined. And there are certain individuals in a small niche in this community that I think that can happen to them, and it might not be as hard as others. And not everyone probably deserves that, but it's, so but at the same time, I can't stand. It's not right to have a whole section of the community just buried in this delusional stuff that is almost like no way for them to come out of, or it just progressed to just the worst amount of delusion of stuff. And these people actively trying to go out there and look for stuff. I think they're the most in danger because they're in fantasy land. So if they actually start having, they might start talking to bears. They might start thinking, a Bigfoot just shape-shifted into a black bear or a grizzly bear, and I'm going to go over there and talk to it. Like, these people are not really, to me, they don't seem like they're the most mindful, obviously, and not going to be the most prepared out in the woods, or the most safest, or just guarded, have everything on mind, probably don't know what to do. And yeah, so let's jump over to some other stuff. I see a lot of people in the comments and stuff. Good to see everyone. Good to see everyone and stuff. They're going Robert Kreider. We should call out people like this.
There comes the wind again. That looks like two eyes right there.
Knowingly.
And then it'll merge back. Is it blinking?
And hysterically are hoaxing.
Now see, I turned away to look to see where they were. And dude, that thing is massive now.
It's getting brighter, isn't it?
Dude, whatever that thing is, it's not just one thing. Whatever it is multiple.
Dude.
That is massive.
You seen it on camera?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful shot. I'm gonna whoop.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's the Squatch Watchers. These guys are the best, man. I love going after these guys because these guys definitely know what they're doing. They're hoaxing. So their claim was that Bigfoot is carrying torches in the woods and stops to look at them. Not sure how you would know if that was a human carrying fire torches or Bigfoot, and how would you know if it actually stopped to look at you, since you can't actually see the Bigfoot, you only see the glowing torches. or you know this, or it's you know eye shine, right? They can't tell the difference between eye shine and two pieces of fire. If you look at it, a lot of the comments are saying it's eye shine. If you look at it and stuff, I think the Squatch watchers already know, and they already told us, you know, it's a Bigfoot carrying torches. And if you look at it, it actually does kind of like almost like something is on fire, in my opinion. It doesn't appear like, of course, depending on how far away the eye shine would be and how many sticks are in between you and the eye shine and how windy it is and all this movement in between you and the actual eye shine could create some different morphism and stuff. So the eye shine might look like it's on fire or something, or it might morph into one and stuff. That could happen. At this time, and knowing these guys, they kind of like give you the information about their hoax. Like these guys are not the smartest. I think it might be just two tiki torches out there that just planted into the freaking ground and they lit on fire, and then it's like, oh, it's Bigfoot, and it's as simple as that. And these guys are hoaxing on purpose. They're not the smartest. They're not the brightest. They continue to expose themselves. Like this guy actually picks up this rock and throws it on the fucking hill. He on the camera, he just picks it up, throws it, watches the rock soar. You can see the rock flying in the hill, roll down the hill. He videotapes this and then claims that Bigfoot distracted them.
This would be a good place to look for stuff too. Right here.
So you can see it. Literally, he picks it up and then he throws it right there, and then you can see it soaring in the bottom right-hand corner. It might be a little hard to see for some people. It goes by pretty fast. You see the rock flying out of his fucking hand, roll down the fucking hill, and then they have the they just say, did a Bigfoot distracted them? Really? Like, this is the type of people who are knowingly hoaxing, knowingly doing it on purpose. There's no way that dude honestly believes that Bigfoot distracted him. He's the one who threw the rock. And he put the description on there. Like, so these are the people we go after. You know, hardcore, full-blown pitchforks and torches. Fuck them. Okay, not the people who can't really defend themselves or can't, you know, fuck these guys if we shatter their realities. My opinion, you know. The other people who are not all there mentally, you know, I will have a more humane side, more human side of mercy to that people, because I feel bad. These guys, I don't feel bad at all if we shatter their reality, in my opinion, because these guys are honestly deceiving us, knowingly deceiving us. They're all there. It's full bullshit. Pisses me off. And this gets, you know, this deserves our attention. This is not as important as individuals who are just on their life journey or whatever, and who are recovering from traumatic life experiences or whatever. You know, those kind of people, I guess, should be labeled as, you know, it's false. Probably always going to be false. Maybe if they have something good, we take a look at it, but most of the time it's going to be bullshit. The Squatch watchers and people like them, you go at them full hardcore, armor-piercing bullets, and no mercy. No mercy at all, especially if they are a big, huge channel and stuff, because it is bullshit. So that's what it is, you know. Anything from the Squatch watchers is bullshit, because the dude picks up a rock and throws it, films it, rolling down the fucking hill, and has the balls to put it up on here, slap a Bigfoot sticker on it, and people eat it. Or people, you know, glance over it, and, you know, oh, well, you know, Maybe this one is whatever. Maybe some people don't even see the rock flying on the fucking hill. Right? He just turned his camera real fast, and it's not the first time these guys have actually got caught on camera. This is how stupid they are. I'm gonna film. I'm gonna pick up the rock while filming, and I'm gonna throw the rock while filming. The other time, the other guy got called out. I don't know. It might be the same guy. I'm not quite sure. Picked it up and threw it behind him. There's another time where the whole group of them is there, and one guy picks up a rock and throws it behind them, and they don't hear it land on the ground, so they say, slap a Bigfoot sticker. Did a Bigfoot catch the rock? That's what the information they're putting out. These guys, you've no mercy. No mercy. So let's take a look at some false AI stuff that people are putting out there. So I could have called this guy out because he's putting this, and this was some Irish travel group that is being flashed around. Obviously, it's one of these fake AI hoaxes. We'll take a closer look, obviously, why. But he, passes it off as real, even naming the person and supposedly giving the whole story and all that. So you can see the faces look off, especially the guy in the middle left. His face looks kind of contorted and almost like Pinocchio. And these guys, the whole crowd seems to be blended in nothing but hats and hats and hats and hats, or ripples of the AI fabrication. You can see it from going from the guy's vest, the ripples throughout the whole image and stuff, distorting it. So there are people putting all sorts of information out. Sometimes the person putting this stuff out believes it, or they're passing it along as, oh my God, this is real information. I can't believe you see this giant. It looks real to me. I mean, look at it. It's a black and white photo, and they won't look at the details of it, or they can't. They don't know how. Some of these people who are mentally slow don't know how to really look at the stuff and distinguish if that's real or not. A lot of people might not look at that particular one and say that's real or fake. I think if you look at that, you should be able to tell that's kind of fake, and there's a lot of digitalization and some weird shit going on, right? Not normal photography stuff from the 1800s, but sometimes, how would you know that? If you're not a history buff, you don't look at old photographs, you're not proficient in the history of the photograph or the equipment, how would you, really be proficient in to check? But if you want to learn about Bigfoot, you should try to look and learn about a lot of different stuff. And it is sad because we're getting lazy. We're not even looking stuff up. A lot of the Kool-Aid drinkers really can't help it. But a lot of time, none of it gets called out. And if you do call it out, you're being rude. You will get kicked out of these groups. You're a troll. You're a hater. You don't believe. You should believe that individual story because that's their individual story. That's their truth. And it might fucking well be their truth, but that's not the real truth. That's not reality. And that's kind of what I'm personally after. Is the reality of stuff. That's why we don't do a lot of documentaries. We don't put out shit that is empty. Let's say don't have guests on anymore because sometimes, there's bullshit, or you find out stuff about afterwards, or it's not really a storytelling channel. This is about finding the reality, finding the real deal evidence. That's the most important thing. It's finding real evidence to move the ball along the field, to have real data. You find a fucking track, a real damn track. You know how much data you can get out of that DNA just from the measurements, just from the textures, just from where you found it at, what habitat, substrate that what was in, the details. You could even, find physical injuries on the subject and stuff. All sorts of data and stuff from real evidence. All sorts of stuff. having a real full blown Bigfoot encounter. Robert Kreider was in chat earlier and stuff. I'm not sure if he's still here, but he came to Michigan. We went up to the UP of Michigan and had activity. We actually had calls and some video of some eye shine. Me and Jason Kenzie's Bigfoot encounter on the channel. That same week of being up to the UP, we got eye shine. We actually had a full encounter caught on 4K, as much as you possibly can without actually capturing them on film. But we see them. We've seen their silhouettes. It's important to have real evidence and to showcase the real evidence. It's important to go be out there and to, when you're out in the woods, to just go fucking do the shit, not camp. It's not a vacation. When we had Robert out here, we camped out in the woods, away from the cabin, away from other people, especially the second base camp, which was out in the middle of nowhere. The real deal researchers were out there, staying out there and wanted shit to fucking happen. And shit did happen after a couple of days. And a lot of stuff happened. I think a lot of people actually heard stuff during the day. And it's important to have the mindset of when you're going out there, you're out about finding the evidence. You're actually out there to do the stuff. It's not a vacation. Okay, it's not a camp out. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But if you want to save up all your money for all fucking year and then go to a different state and go with a group of people and not be disappointed, you need to make sure you're going with a group of people that will go actually get off their ass and go out there and do something, or be in a legit area and actually have stuff happen at camp. It's not reliable to say we will go camping in a spot and Bigfoot will come at camp and we'll have stuff happen. That's not reliable. That's not, to me, that is, such a sliver of feather of luck to make that happen consistently. Nonetheless, that it's not what we should be after. And it's the same thing when you look at these hoaxers or you look at people presenting evidence. I want to find the real deal evidence, the best shit ever, because I want to look at that and find it and discuss and look and have it accepted as a new piece of evidence. All these footprints and stuff. It's going to be winter. We're about to have tracks. Going to have you'll see it in all these fucking groups, all these tracks by these slow individuals who are seeing bunnies jump in the snow, see deer, whatever animal, every other animal besides Bigfoot, basically. And they will claim it as Bigfoot. You will see this, and they will honestly believe it because that's what they believe. They will not go and investigate, look into the fucking track, take pictures and video of the track, follow the tracks, look into the tracks, dig into the tracks, figure out what the actual print inside the snow looks like. All they show is this big, giant, gaping hole of an animal that jumped in and jumped out of, creating it. If you look inside of it, you might see the print of the actual animal that made it, not just the gaping hole of where it landed. That's the problem. It's simple enough. Take 1 minute to walk over to that track, look down, and discover what actually made it. Instead, 1, 2 pictures, bing, bada, boom, go home, race home, post on, make an elaborate, good story, or present that piece of photograph in an elegant way. And now all their friends, the whole community is lighting up in their Facebook group. And now all of a sudden they get in this endorphin rush. They're feeling great. But now you have a picture of fake Bigfoot tracks that are being spread. And, there are some people who are a little bit older researchers who will have a lot of respect, but at the same time, they are kind of falling for some of these crappier stuff because either they were getting too old, they can't really see it, or they believe the story from the individual because it sounds good, or the picture looks really good, but it's just nothingness. And that is, it's affecting us, whether we want to accept it or not. And I think the Kool-Aid is going to spill over eventually in the long run, certainly with all this storytelling. You have the Bigfoot mapping project. How reliable are these sources that they're getting. They're not, because if I getting all this information off these Facebook groups, it's not really reliable, you know. So how reliable is some of the information that we rely on as researchers to, you know, to use? How reliable is it? And how reliable is that going to make our own findings? If we rely on these techniques or any stuff we hear in these stories or whatever, these mind speak people, you know, and I'm open to it. Hey, if I start hearing mind speak, I'm going to tell you guys. I hope you will believe it, right? But I'm not going to, the first thing that I think of when I hear mind speak, it's not going to be towards Bigfoot. It will honestly be something spiritual, because I've experienced spiritual stuff before, and you know, the closet is wide open of what can happen in that situation. I'm not going to immediately think of Bigfoot. So let's take a look at some other videos that we got when we're actually looking at Bigfoot. There's a lot of things that we should mentally accept and prepare ourselves. People are actually actively going out there and not scared of the dark, and will actually go after whatever they hear, the eye shine that they see, because most of the time when you see eye shine, it's going to be a normal animal. It's not going to be a Bigfoot. One of the best ways to find it out, if you're not in a, you know, if you don't have any bears around and stuff, and you're big cats, and or you feel pretty brave, you know, you walk, get a little bit closer to the animal. And most of the time the animal will run away, or if it's bear, you know, it might give you a warning sign, to which you should listen and should probably get out of the area. You know, a lot of people will see eye shine and then they get scared, or all of a sudden they get into, you know, I'm not sure what it is, but I don't want to go over there. And then all of a sudden they go, yeah, I seen eye shine, but it's not Bigfoot. You'll see some of the eye shine that these Squatch watchers get, and it's deer related stuff, or there's tiki torches out there, like in that one latest video. But if you actually are out there and you are actually looking for Bigfoot, you know, there are dangers out there, and it's, you know, it could be real animals. You know, if you knowingly find out that the eye shine is from a raccoon, you should not go up to the raccoon and think, oh, you're a friendly raccoon, let me pet you. Some of these individuals who are slower, mind speaking to Bigfoot, mind speaking to these animals, who are able to communicate with animals and stuff, might find themselves in a rude awakening when they not only try to play with the big kitties out there, but the trash pandas. As trash pandas are ruthlessly mean, they have endurance, they can take a lot of damage, and as you're about to see, they can dish out a lot of damage that would surprise you. So as you can see, that mountain lion has its entire leg, skin, and fur ripped off its body in this battle against this raccoon. And that raccoon is just hanging on and giving all of its piss and vinegar out right now. And it messed that mountain lion up pretty dang good. And, you know, these are regular animals. You know, a raccoon is, you know, a regular small game animal that a lot of people, you know, wouldn't think they could mess you up pretty bad. But as you can tell from that lion, I'll show that again. From that lion right there, a raccoon will slice and dice your ass up. And I'm really, you know, I do get concerned with some of these individuals who are drinking their Kool-Aid heavily of, you know, I'm surprised that we don't have videos and instances of them getting attacked, of them really impaling themselves while being out in the forest, because these people are just, to me, they don't scream proficient of going out looking for Bigfoot, you know. I see them as trying to communicate with the trash pandas in their gifting area. And when they're trying to set out new treats and stuff, coming face to face with the trash panda that's been messing and taking their marbles, because Raccoons will take shiny objects. They will definitely take a marble. They will definitely take shiny objects. They will definitely take the food. They might take the objects, play with the objects in their hand, and then set it back down in a different spot. And then you think that it's been played with. You might come up to a trash panda and it might eat your face off. I thought that was so cool. I just had to put that out there and to show how normal, regular animals are pretty badass, are pretty tough, have massive endurance. And, we're going after a Bigfoot. We're going after something that, with even crazier stats in terms of endurance and power, that could just slam you with one arm and basically do that to you. These bulls and stuff, these probably, 500, 600 pounds, maybe a little less. They're not full blown big ass rodeo bulls, but these are running bulls. And a Bigfoot could definitely slap your ass about that hard with one hand. And that's probably exactly what you would do. You see it coming for a split second and get ragdolled as you basically get cussed, knocked out, or be wishing that you were dead. And so we are going after a creature that literally runs circles around you in the middle of the night and could do that to you at any moment, and there's nothing you can do about it. That's the reality of if you are actually going into a situation with real Bigfoot. That's the reality of it. They are running circles around you. You are a toddler who basically without your flashlight would be tripping over everything. You're not running through the woods. No one runs through. If you're off trail, you're not running through the woods. Okay. You're not running away. You're not going to get away. They're running in circles around you. And at any moment, they could do this. They just smash you. They could throw a rock at you and smash you, like a bowling ball and a bowling pin. The audio that we got in Allegan of one throwing a bowling ball sized rock into the creek sounded like that's what it would do to me if I was standing there and it threw it at my chest region or my head, that I would go splatter, ragdolled, and most likely be dead. So, when I talk about going out and finding real evidence and going out there and getting off your fucking ass, you should have the mentality of going out there and looking for a creature that could just do that to you if you piss it off. That's why you have people out there with you to make sure that they're disciplined not to do something stupid to make that happen to you. Because we're going after a creature that is as strong as or stronger than a grizzly bear. Now, this is a small grizzly bear of the brown bear family. Manhandling and dragging this, and dragging these bodies that are, 200 plus pounds. And so we're going after a creature that will wrestle with that brown bear and could win. We're talking about, we're going after something that could pick your ass up like this grizzly bear does, that 250 pound plus animal, and drag it. You're talking about a Bigfoot who could grab you with one arm and drag you like that up the fucking hill running, could sling you against a tree and smash you, break your back and stuff. Like, that's the reality. That's like when, if you're drinking the fucking Kool-Aid, you're not thinking that's going to fucking happen. And you're not in reality. That should be in the back of your head. You should have that kind of switch of, this is ultimately what the worst thing could fucking happen. So let's make sure we conduct ourselves in such a way that doesn't happen. Right. Good example of when we were up in the UP, Robert Kreider was up there. There's certain, these seem like men out there, when I've got yelled at, it sounded like a man yelling at me. And I pissed him off because I shot at a possum, and it wasn't an area where a lot of people shot guns off at nighttime, I guess, in a lot of years. It pissed that person off, that individual. He yelled at me. If you're having an encounter with these individuals, you do not want to piss them off. You don't want to upset them. Now, if the the encounter up in the UP with me and Jason, I had my rifle. We were walking away, and they announced themselves by hitting the ground or disturbing the brush on the ground to get our attention. And I whipped around, flung my gun out, pointed at the ground, but at their direction. They scattered. And instantly, I had this instinctively kind of knew the sound of a Bigfoot slinking away, put my gun away on my shoulder, and they actually showed themselves. That was an intense situation. I always go back to that because of, what if this happened? What if this happened? What if they did this? What if they didn't do this? What if I did this? What if, because they actually announced themselves. They had a risk analysis, seeing me with a gun, seeing two individuals, one with a gun, probably I've seen us out there all week, knowing we were at camp, surrounding us. They made the threat assessment of, you know what, for whatever reason, there's three individuals, because me and Jason seen two of them, and one snuck around, which I actually heard. You can watch this. It's Blake Deutscher's and Jason Kenzie's Bigfoot encounter in the UP. It's on our channel. I hear one slinking. I call it slinking, a Bigfoot sneaking in the woods. It will slink through the woods, spider crawl or whatever. You hear it go around it. Later, Jason sees it cross the trail. There were three individuals who all, for whatever reason, agreed that even though this individual has a gun, we're going to announce ourselves by brushing the ground and take the chance that he's going to turn around with the gun. He's going to point. He might point the gun. He might shoot at us. Who knows? But collectively, they chose to alert us to them on purpose from like 20 yards away, between 20 and 30 yards away. It was probably 20 yards away. It was not that far. It was 60 feet, about 60 feet, I would say. So that's about 20 yards, I think, right? Anyways, so when I pointed my gun at them and they scattered about and I put my gun away, I just wondered I know what they did. They went to the tree and then they went like this and let us see them. And we were pointing at them. I pointed at them because I wanted them to know. I did, body language to let them know I could see them. Okay. These individuals showed us and stuff. It just blows my mind when people go out there and, think, they're talking to these fucking things, or, they're mind speaking to these things, or, these things are super friendly. These things can do whatever the fuck they want. And the reality is, if you're out there, you should take it as seriously as fucking possible, especially if you're in a real area, because we don't know what can actually happen when we're putting ourselves in these situations. We don't know on any given day what could actually happen, because from my understanding and my experience tells me that they are highly intelligent. They make tactical decisions in the field, split-second decisions as they're happening, I think, and they take risk and reward. They're very curious. They know about guns, and they take it all in consideration, and they choose to interact with people. They chose to interact with me and Jason way more than I told them, and we went back to camp because I wanted these group to follow us to camp, which they should have, and they did. But at the same time, they didn't interact that boldly to the whole group of people either and stuff. And they, so it's weird and stuff. But when you're in that situation, if you're in these situations, you're by yourself, you're with another partner, your whole group of 20 people. If I was out there and Jason wasn't as cool, calm, and collective as he was, I don't think the Bigfoot would have been as cool, calm, and collective as they were. And to have this premium interaction of pure curiosity of where we could interact and have interaction. If you have these individuals pissed off at you, well, we're not going to have the good interaction we want, but we're not going to have the kind of interaction of continual interaction. If you interact with these creatures enough and you're not pissing them off, and they might recognize you, they might like you enough to keep interacting, you might show themselves to you eventually. They might build up this relationship with you that you can actually use to get on camera, get photographs, get footprints, do whatever, DNA, anything. We need real interaction like that. And it's not going to come from undisciplined individuals who cannot conduct themselves in the field professionally. And that means when you're at a campground, you're not fucking drinking until you're just so gone. You're not reliable. It's not going to a Bigfoot camp out and trying to get some booty. Okay. It's not going to a Bigfoot camp route and trying to impress everyone else and trying to, or whatever the fuck false facade is in your mind. You should be going to a Bigfoot camp out to find evidence of Bigfoot, to try to get the shit on camera, to have real interaction, real encounters. Anyone can fucking go on vacation and do this and do that. Come on StreamYard. You can tell stories around the fucking campfire on StreamYard. When you go out to the fucking Bigfoot thing, there's time for campfire stories, and then it's time to get out in the fucking field and go. And if you don't go on the fucking field and go, you're wasting your money, you're wasting people's time, you're wasting you're wasting the attention and the everyone on the audience. Because they, a lot of people invest money into people, and we don't ask for money. I mean, I haven't asked donations. I haven't put links and stuff out for my merch. I haven't done any of that because I don't want to be like that. And if I was getting a bunch of money and some of these other, getting equipment and this and this, I would feel a responsibility and integrity to use that and try to get the best damn shit all the fucking time and show you guys, not just these people who I've seen several different channels and they have amazing equipment, but where's just them using it? Didn't mean to do that. I'm gonna check all the comments and stuff. How's it going? Everyone in chat. Such a Florida Bigfoot, Texas Jack. How's it going? Petrov. I can't butcher the name. Petikov. Is that what it is? Yes, Petikov. Petikov Media. I believe that is Alex. Then. How's it going? How's it going? How's it going? I'm glad to see that you're here and stuff. Definitely, if you ever come out to Michigan, definitely got premium spots that could potentially get some quality evidence that we're actually looking for. All right, so where are they? This next one I wanted to show. So so we're I like to show animals. I like to show even grizzly bears just doing this crazy stuff because we're going after a creature professionally. Professional researchers. I'm talking to you. We are going after a creature in the middle of the darkness that will take this grizzly bear that we see in this particular video. A 7-foot Bigfoot, an 8-foot Bigfoot could take this creature, choke it out, and destroy it, with rocks and weapons and all sorts of stuff. And now me and you are going to go out in the middle of the woods with our cameras and our flashlights, and we're going to go try to not only get video of this thing, audio, but try to have an encounter, to have actual interaction with these things. It's like, at any moment, bam. Oh, I guess he didn't like what we gave him. I guess he didn't like what Fred just did. Fred was drinking a little too much. He was acting like an asshole, being a snob, acting like an asshole, shouting at the Bigfoot, pointing in the middle of the woods. He's so drunk, he's out of control. Well, if Fred was alone, maybe that was what could happen to him. There are stories of people in Michigan who hang out with other researchers who have got fucking drunk in the middle of the night and shot in a circle in the middle of their campsite because they thought they were having Bigfoot interaction. And they're so, And you cannot have individuals at your campground or in your research area or out with you who are not disciplined. You cannot have that, because that person, could be out of control. Maybe they in the moment, and this, when you're in the moment with a Bigfoot encounter that's actually happening, all bets are off the table. You don't know how you're honestly going to react, especially if you've never been in the experience before. You might piss yourself. You might shit your pants. You don't really know until it's actually happening. But I would feel better to be with the person, even if they've never experienced stuff, who seemed so much more disciplined, that have integrity, good head on their shoulders, mentally all there, at least somewhat, because we're going after this creature that could kill us, right? To when shit actually hits the fucking fan, that they're somewhat good foundation there for them to have a good starting point of how they're going to react. And so when you have people who drink the Kool-Aid, people who mind speak, if you're having a real encounter and you're having a person who is going to say, oh, I'm mind speaking to this Bigfoot, or say this, I'm having activity over here, guys, come over this way. And now where you were actually having real activity or thinking or potentially, or just starting out, now you're going over to where this person is playing Fantasyland, because this person is saying, I heard this over here. Come back to camp, guys. There's Bigfoot activity all around camp. Now drive 5 miles back this way. Come back to camp and there's nothing going on. And now you're going around, doing circles around camp. There's nothing going on. There's nothing ever going on. Or that person's out in the field with you. Oh, I hear something over here. I'm getting mind speaking over here, or whatever the fuck, to influence and direct your investigation into a false reality that is not going to be reliable or yield anything. You need to sense that, ignore that, and go where you instinctively are trying to go and do, and actually have real research. That's why you can't have bullshit people. And it's hard because, you might not have anyone. You might want people to be with you, and they might not not have integrity. And, you don't know how people are until you really are in the field with them, or you've been around long enough. Sometimes, you don't find out until it's too late. But it's a big issue because your life does depend on it, and it does depend on the individual next to you and how they react. If that person is carrying a gun, and you're carrying a gun, and shit happens, and they take that fucking gun out and start pointing faster than you can say, don't do that, because you think it's a real Bigfoot and not a bear. I'll point a gun at a bear anytime, any day of the week if I feel it's a bear. But if I feel it's a Bigfoot, I'm not so inclined to really point my gun at it, right? Especially if you want the real interaction that's going to yield continual interaction and actual real evidence, legit stuff, and not these Kool-Aid drinking, gifting interactions that they claim to have. You have to have an individual who's going to be cool, calm, and collective, so that you're in a situation where it's cool, calm, and collective. And I truly believe that the best scenario of interaction can occur. All right, so let's look at some gorillas, because I love gorillas, and they are the biggest primate that we can compare to a Sasquatch, because they are about 450 pounds, which would be basically a young juvenile teenager growing up, or whatever Sasquatch eventually at that weight we could roughly compare to. The upper body and stuff mostly, because if you look at the gorilla, the legs are completely different. They actually have pretty stubby legs compared to what most Sasquatches are depicted as. So their body mechanics and muscle structure and power from the legs are going to be completely different. So a Sasquatch with more humanoid legs and stuff that can actually be upright and have more functional ability and maneuverability than what gorillas display should generate more power in what they do. So even a Sasquatch that is 450 pounds, in my opinion, should definitely be stronger than a 450-pound gorilla based on the body mechanics and structure of the legs adding to the power of the upper body. But so let's take a look at some gorillas again. So we played this clip before, but male gorillas interacting with their kids and stuff. And I have to wonder if Sasquatches interact like this with their young ones. And I honestly believe it would have to be to build up such a friendly, a family bond. Their family bonds must be, to have such strict and loving bonds that, we don't really hear about, an alpha male taking out, or a younger male taking out alpha males. We don't really hear about these power struggles that would normally happen in the animal kingdom. Yeah, so their social dynamics must be different, because even gorillas will fight young males and stuff. Will fight, and sometimes to the death in the wild. What's the relationship with Sasquatches? When a older male, his time is run out in the animal kingdom, a younger male, it's a fight to the death, and that body gets discarded and the group moves on. And usually, you can find these dead bodies, captured on video and stuff. But with Sasquatches, we don't hear about that. We don't have any of these massive battles even taking place there in audio in the woods. I mean, two Sasquatches going at it to the death. I mean, that must truly sound like the ultimate WrestleMania in the woods. I mean, there's no examples of that. That's a little strange, in my opinion. There's no real examples of any Sasquatches really doing battle with each other. I think John Green, that I can recall offhand, John Green in his book had an eyewitness that said that Sasquatches looked like they were practicing, but were wrestling each other. But it was more practice and more play than domination or actual territory disputes or them attacking each other. So, if they have a social structure, not instinctively based on what animals do, but they communicate with each other, and they have a custom of, this is how things are done. This is how leaders are chosen. This is how family groups are done. Because for whatever reason, all Bigfoot seem to do almost all the exact same thing, even though they're in all these different regions. They have the uncanny ability to just be undetected. They all know it. They all know what to do. They all, seemingly do the same habits and stuff. Not all of them, but it seems like there's this overall rule set to the human interactions of what to do. And most of the time it's, you don't attack and kill the person, you flee into the woods. It must be a social understanding and not an instinctual understanding of interacting with humans. And I see these gorillas and stuff, and I just wonder how Sasquatches interact with their young. How does the troop interact? What kind of bonds do they build? And I always think it's funny because I see myself playing, when my son was a little younger and still is the same age, playing around and wrestling around, and it's the same kind of thing. And I just wonder how more humanoid does it look to see a Sasquatch playing with its young ones? How funny does it look? How relatable is it? Does it actually make you laugh and chuckle like this does when you see it as a dad being relatable to you? It'd be amazing to see this footage. It'd be amazing to, as a researcher, to actually be able to be trusted by a Sasquatch, to be able to film or be around them playing with their young ones and stuff. We are so far behind in the science of observation of these things. We're like 100 years behind gorillas, right? There's no Jane Goodall moments for another 50 plus years, maybe. As far as I can tell, it doesn't seem like we're there yet. You have a lot of people who are doing gifting and mind speaking and drinking Kool-Aid, and they believe that they're Jane Goodall. But for the rest of us, we're struggling to even get glimpses of these things, and even get, small little fragments of evidence that we can truly say is real evidence and truly be accepted by not only our community, but the scientific and people's opinion in the masses out there. So, all right. So we, but instead, we deal with AI imagery. This one's pretty good. This one fooled a lot of people, is fooling a lot of people, will fool a lot of people. And, if some of the four horsemen were old, still around, but say old in their age, I would hate to say that some of them will look at this photograph and might even consider it being real just by looking at it, because not everyone is skilled at looking for details in AI generation. I mean, you could just put this in is it AI or not website, and it can tell you. I like looking at the details and obviously finding it out. And there are some details in here that we can clearly see that depicted as AI. But I do see real researchers falling for this stuff. And these would be people who I would consider, if they've actually found evidence out there, I would consider and look at it more than like these Kool-Aid drinkers. But I do see them falling for images and say, well, I don't know. They say, I don't know. I can't tell. It's like, how do you not tell? How can you not tell that there's no, if this was an old photograph that got found in someone's fucking attic, you would have a whole background story of my great-grandfather's photograph, maybe a journal, an epic story of how they actually found it, in the attic behind, the cupboard, wrapped in a blanket. The photograph, it would be a real photograph that someone could just take a photograph of. You would actually have a piece of paper, an aged photo, and people believe this. Like, there's no real physical evidence behind it. It's all digital. But so when you look at this, it's holding a cane and stuff. It's holding a stick. It looks pretty good. You can even see the face. But if you look at the hands, it has a lot more knuckles than 5 on the one side, and on the it would be the creature's left hand. There is like 6 digits at least. Maybe there's 7. There's quite a bit of distortion going on. So it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 knuckles. That one looks pretty good. Usually AI distorts their hands and feet. So here we have extraordinary detail of the fur all around the bicep, except for the bicep is completely smooth. No detail in the rendering. It's just shaded over and shadowed, where you have immaculate detail around the chest and the hair. But people don't know. People can't tell. I was going to do a photograph of looks like a mangy raccoon photograph that's going around that the Cryptid Hunters did a remote viewing on and stuff, and can give you all the information. You should go watch that and watch the cheese and drink the Kool-Aid while you're there, because that person will remote view any story, every story, and a bullshit photograph like that, and come up with stories. And so, I have noticed that person was tagging along with other people who, if they found evidence, I would consider it legitimate, but they're tagging along with this make-believe of Kool-Aid drinker. And it's like, not calling them out. And yeah, that's not acceptable. That's hoaxing. It's full on delusion. And now this person's going to remote view your location and tell you details. And, you're going to go out there and going to listen. And by golly, something happened. So now she's correct. And delusion. All right, so this is a photograph, Sasquatch sighting in Dodge County, Wisconsin. And that's it. No story, no background story, no what the fuck did the creature do? Oh, I slammed on my brakes going 55 as I seen this thing come out of the cornfield, out of the weeds, and it stood up next to the tree. About tore my brake lines loose and about spit my coffee out. And my girlfriend's pissed off at me because I slammed my brakes, and we seen this massive creature run into the woods. And I got one photograph of it before it ran away. No, it's just Sasquatch sighting, Bigfoot sighting. So I legit think there's something out there. Now, what it is, I don't know. Could be just a sign, could be a cutout, could be a person in a costume, could be a person in a hoodie faced the other way. I have no idea. But it's not real in my opinion because there's no story behind it. There's no legit, real sounding story, not Kool-Aid drinking, make believe. I just wrote this story up in 5 seconds. Story, like a real, legit. It feels real. There's details in it that are not falsehood. Like when the government sent the military and they're carrying sniper rifles and their 308s or 308 Magnums. That's what the military was using. Well, there is no such thing as a military issued 308 Magnum rifle. It's known as that, and that would be called that caliber. There is no such thing. There's certain details that you can find that it makes no sense. It's not real because these people telling the stories don't know guns. They don't know calibers, don't know grain sizes, don't know that they wouldn't use a 308. They would use a 7.62 by 55, 54, whatever. 7.62 by whatever the fuck it is. That's what they would use, the caliber size round. It's not a 308. That's not a military term. Unless there's an actual specialized individual who chose that to do that round, which doesn't really ever happen. Usually they have way better rifles than a 308. Like a 338 Lupua or a 408 or a 50 cal or that is AK-47 rounds. That's 7.62 by 39 is a AK-47 round. This is correct. It's 7.62 by 51 millimeter is a NATO round. And then 7.62 by 54 is a Mosin-Nagant round, which is comparable to the NATO round, which is slightly bigger and slightly different than the 308. 308 is the 54R, which is if you ever see me and I talk about having a gun in the field, is I carry a Mosin-Nagant in the field. A 1954 or 55, I think it's 55, Romanian Mosin-Nagant. Yes. Pretty good rim-fired round. You can get them for fairly cheap, and I feel it's a good enough caliber to do some damage to a Sasquatch, even, especially if you get some old military surplus rounds and stuff like that, which you cannot hunt with and stuff. And I'm definitely not carrying to hunt, carrying for protection. So there's definitely a big difference of being able to. You can definitely carry certain rounds, non-hunting rounds in your gun if you're not hunting, because you're not hunting, you're protecting yourself. So yeah, I got some hot rounds that I chamber for that thing for self-defense purposes, because we are in an area with black bear. We actually have had a black bear stomp its paws at us and stuff. We actually walked up on the road and it was like 10 feet from us, from Tyler, who was closest to the woods, and luckily it went off to the woods. But it's one of those reasons, like you want to make sure that if he just got attacked and the bear's on top of him, you got to be able to do something. And bear spray is, probably good and stuff too, but I like an old-fashioned big boomstick. Let me guess. You were probably like me. He probably got it as a young first gun because actually that was my first gun too. Is the 19? I think it's 55. It's a carbine. It's a it's M44 carbine, 1955 Romanian made, and we got it when I've had it for 21 years now, and got it for $99 at Dunham's, and it's like I take it out of the field and stuff, but I'd say it's probably $400 to $500 now. So, and it's only going up and up and up. So, yeah, I think we got them because they were honestly just cheap and on sale, and especially until recent years, ammo was cheap, so cheap. I mean, you just buy it and shoot it and buy it, and especially at SKS and stuff too. But honestly, it was a good investment. You could just buy the gun, and now it's only going up and up and up and up and up and up, and I could just resell this thing, and it's sell like that at the gun show that comes around every couple months. But yeah, I do think you should be prepared. You should defend yourself in the woods because it's the natural God-given right of every human, not only human, but animals do it all the time, whether, they want to or not. The right of defense, knowing how to defend yourself, is nature's law. It's probably one of the first is, you should probably defend yourself because shit fucking happens. And if you're going to die, you better do as much damage as you can before you go out, because don't be a nice, warm, buttery meal to be sliced through. You want to be rough, tough, and hell to chew through. And that's my opinion. And it comes to every single thing. So you should prepare yourself. You should have something that you is competent. And, we could talk about the subject, but, I don't, Sasquatches are pretty tough. Actually, that does remind me, we don't have all the videos on here ready to go, because I'm missing a video of a deer with an arrow stuck through its skull that was still alive when this guy actually shot it, showing how tough animals are. So when it comes to Bigfoot, you definitely don't want to shoot a Bigfoot unless you have to. But if it did come to shoot a Bigfoot, shot placement is everything. I think a decent caliber a deer rifle would do it. 270 and stuff is probably do it, no problem with headshots and stuff. But you definitely want to make sure you hit head zone. The chest zone, I don't know. What kind of category are Bigfoot in? Well, if you look at hunting animal sizes, they go by class sizes. Class 1, small game. Class 2, deer. Class 3, grizzly bear. Class 4, polar bear, African wildlife, African big game animal. So it's a Bigfoot, definitely class 3 animal, hunting animal, potentially class 4 category of a hunting animal. And I would potentially, yes, put it in a class 4. If anyone is a hunter and they know about that, a class 4 is tough, thick skin animal, like African big game animals. It takes a really tough rifle, potentially to get through the chest area. I think if you shoot a Sasquatch in the chest, yeah, it is like shooting a class 4 animal. So not even a Mosing and a Gant, might not be able to pierce, especially if it hits bone and stuff. Might not be able to pierce the rib cage. Might not be able to pierce the diaphragm of the Sasquatch. I don't know. We don't know. How dense are their bone structures? I would take a fucking guess. Pretty dense bone structure. They have to be to support they have to be able to support all the muscle mass, that weight of that creature, and how maneuverable they are. The bones have to be fucking strong. So you don't want to shoot a Sasquatch in the chest. You don't want to shoot them where, it ain't going to fucking drop the thing instantly. And that's my opinion on it. And so people who want to go out there hunting for Bigfoot, you should have a class 4, at least a class 3 weapon. Class 4 probably do you better. That is because even shooting an animal with a large caliber weapon, you can watch all these videos of pigs being shot with good caliber weapons. They are tough. They will get up and still fight. And if you shoot a Sasquatch, even a death shot, you know how much power and adrenaline and energy and just fear, frustration, and willpower that it could command and still stomp your ass into the ground. You know, that is, it makes me think of, you know, how strong and what they truly are capable of. Because when we see animals being strung out and super flooded with rushes of adrenaline, even when shot, I've shown a video of this pig being flat out shot, blown on its stomach, dead, get up, and then bam, back to it like nothing happened, going. And I fear, like, if you take a shot at a Sasquatch, man, you want to make sure that it's done and over with, and you want to make sure you're defending yourself, because if you go murder one, if you don't kill the one that you try to go murder, I'm sure the other ones are definitely going to go eat you. I was in the same boat, though. It's same boat. Yep. I hate looking at all the old magazines. Yes. Yes, exactly what I was about to say, actually. I hate all looking through those and stuff. Okay, they have such nice stuff for so cheap. It's a lot of people are, I'm sure, sitting on a bunch of just money collection of money. That's only going to go up and up and up, no matter what happens. Shit hits the fan even worse. Gets even more valuable. All right, so we have this video of this paranormal thing. So the story about this is basically the person in the background is possessed by this jinn right there. The face that you can see is possessed by this jinn, and this guy is just calmly talking and trying to, I don't know, make everyone be calm, because they were speaking in some type of Arabic language or Middle Eastern language, I should say, or dialect. You know, it comes out from this third world country, and it, you know, if it was legit something happening, you know, coming from these third world countries or second world countries with these phones and stuff, I'm hopeful that sometime we'll come across this epic footage of these cryptid creatures or paranormal things, but also I'm very distrustful that a lot of this stuff is hoaxed and coming out because these people think it's funny. They're discovering the internet. They have a YouTube. They see all these other videos, and for them to make a hoax and to trick us, it's a lot easier because they don't have the best resolution of cameras. They're in a, you know, they're actually in a fucking cave. Like, they're potentially in these cool areas, wild areas, where, you know, if something epic did happen, you know, it'd be a place, you know, they're in the middle of a desert, they're in the middle of this or wherever, middle of the Amazon forest. They got a little 380 or 480p phone taking video. Like, it's one of those things, like, I'm hopeful, but most of the crap is going to be fake until you find something shiny. Then it's like, well, is it real? It's a fake, you know. You're just like all the aliens that were invading those South American countries and stuff, coming out of the jungle, and was it Peru? They were asking the government to come in and wipe them out and stuff, and then they kind of had some updates, and then now it's like, anyone remember that story? You know, of course, it's very interesting coming from this remote village. You know, you think, wow, you know, maybe this is legit stuff, but then hey, what would be a good way to get the village some attention, to fake an alien invasion, and all of a sudden, boom, you're on CNN, you're on Fox News, you're the whole world in the spotlight of the whole world. And now maybe you'll get some donations, maybe you'll get some relief aid, maybe you'll get some new shirts, maybe you'll get some money, or just acknowledgement, like, oh, hey, there's this remote village and whatever, they're not doing the best compared to everyone else. It gives them some spotlight and stuff. So yeah, you gotta kind of be wary when we get information that comes from these poor places or rural villages or places around the world, because we don't know their situation. We don't know if it's a trick for publicity to get them more resources, to just get the spotlight on them in general. But I am hopeful that there is some people out there in these other countries that do have these cell phones, that hear these legends growing up, that get off their ass, just like us, just like me, will get off their ass, really want to go do something and fucking, go out there and, by golly, actually have some real shit happen. I tend to believe there are individuals out there who are doing that. Maybe there is real evidence out there. And it's really hard for us Westerners to find it because it's muddied in the Kool-Aid that we have to deal with at our end of the world, let alone all the junk and fabrication and delusion that comes from the whole world. So, and I think it's easier. I definitely will fall. I think I'm more gullible to watch a video from some other country, especially if it's a poor place, on the potential of if it's real, or spend my time to analyze if it's real or not, than to waste my time on individuals here who are drinking the Kool-Aid and stuff. I'd rather have waste my time or be wrong or be tricked by a person over there, because I honestly believe, there's creatures out there, and eventually there will be photographs and pictures from these poor places that will come out. And there's been some videos. We've shown some videos. So another aspect of Bigfoot living in caves and stuff, and how it's a more complicated issue than just saying Bigfoot's live in caves, is because caves are dangerous. Caves are huge habitat systems that are fluctuating with not only water levels most of the time, but with gases and the composition of gases. So going into a cave or thinking Bigfoot's live in caves and stuff, well, caves and stuff eventually run out of oxygenated air and are full with deadly gases. As you can see there, the flame goes out because there's no oxygen in that cave, in that just shell right there. There's no oxygen in that cave system. It's filled with nothing but deadly gas that it actually puts the flame out. So any living creature that was in there inhaling that toxic fumes, getting disorientated, would die and stuff. And so, when it's not just a catch-all, oh, Bigfoot's live in caves. Well, it's like, it's a little bit more complicated than that, because if you look at how a lot of caves are, especially in the eastern, the Midwest and eastern side, they get flooded with water. Water levels change instantly, rapidly, and sometimes days after a rain happens. Days after rains happen, you can watch these deadly cave accidents and stuff, where people are in caves and all of a sudden it's rushing with water and it floods up so fast that they get drowned. They can't escape. They get caught in passages that you have to crawl through and stuff. For a Bigfoot and a whole community of Bigfoot to live in there, in these karst systems, which are deep underground cave systems and water aquifer systems that are deep recesses, deep expansive terrain and stuff, a whole different category than just regular cave systems. These are epic cave systems with water flowing. Now, in those, in my opinion, if you have water flowing in some of that, you will have some oxygenated air from the water and stuff. It will put some oxygen in there, but also there's so much other gases and stuff that for, I was flipping stuff because I do think Bigfoot's live under the ground, but at the same time, they would have, the navigation and unless they're building their own stuff or they have these clear passages with some type of oxygenated sources, they could be in all the cave systems they want. And you have a group of 20 of them and they're breathing heavy and they take all the oxygen out of the chamber, they're going to die. They're going to run out of air. So like if they are going underground into cave systems, they have to go to places that are regenerated with oxygen somehow, unless they're an alien species that breathes whatever, right? Kool-Aid drinking, right? They can just breathe. They don't need air. They teleport away into other dimensions, right? But they live in caves. It's just one of those things. Where do they go? Winter's about here in Michigan. It should be easy to find tracks. Should be able to follow the tracks to where they go. If the Bigfoot are just laying around on the fucking ground like deer are, we should be able to find out where they're laying down, follow the tracks. It should, were they laying behind the tree and there's 20 of them there and they're just huddled down there, not moving, maybe stockpile of food and stuff. That doesn't seem very smart as a Sasquatch. Where do they go in winter? Are they just out in the elements with a food cache and supply? Maybe they're not moving because of tracks. I think Sasquatches wait for the weather changes to leave tracks. If they know, there's going to be a blizzard coming, okay, that night, yeah, they're going to go walk around, make tracks. But when they go back to wherever they're at, is it a spot they're laying on the ground? Is it a den? Do they dig a hole and just den like a bear? Or is it a cave system? Is it a massive tunnel system that leads into a karst system with aquifers and water running? My opinion is they're not moving in winter. They stagnate, and then when the weather changes, they get snowed on. They will move around to cover the tracks. If the weather changes, it gets hot, or it will melt the tracks enough to degrade them enough. It seems like that's when they move around. But they're only moving around and stuff to not be tracked. They only moving around in the snow, in the storms, to cover the tracks. They're only moving around when the snow is melted to melt the tracks away. So where are they staying? I don't think they're staying on the ground, just in the middle of the open. To me, there's an element of them going into a swamp and disappearing. They're not living in the swamp in chest deep water, right? Constantly in water all the time, right? They would develop disorders. Their skin would rot off, being wet all the time. Trench foot type of stuff, fungus infections, your skin being so wet all the time, never being dry, it will fall off. It will degrade and stuff. But yet they go into a swamp and they disappear into the swamp. And there's stories about, these wild men being chased in the 1800s, and the swamp is surrounded by people. And nothing comes in. The Sasquatch came in, but nothing's come out. And I typically think that, they go underwater and they go into a type of, like an otter den, Maybe they have some type of thing going on. What's your guys' opinions on that? Yeah, I should have. Yeah, 8Ks are pretty expensive anymore, especially if you want a real legit badass one and not a cheap one. You're going to spend money. And if you're going to spend the money on that, you might as well get a really good like Soviet built one, or actually a legit one, or get a custom made American one built from the ground up, because those are pretty sweet too. All right, so I think we have everything. Let's just showcase the Squatch Watchers a little bit more, because this guy's mind's blown by the basic Photoshop imagery of stretching the deer out, stretching it out with Photoshop. And the Squatch Watchers will present this as a skinwalker, right? And notice it looked at the camera and stopped. It stopped its transformation, right? It's transforming, right? Notice it looked at the camera and stopped. So the Squatch Watchers present this as a skinwalker who's stretching out and then looked at the camera and stops transforming. These are the people that we go after with pitchforks and flaming torches and with tar and feather and pepper their ass, because this is ridiculous. These people are fully capable. They're not, in my opinion, they don't seem to be slow mentally. They seem to be all there, but yet, they present junk like this as real evidence. And maybe he did it himself. Maybe that's his own Photoshop imagery. It's basic Photoshop. Just stretch it out, right? Most basic thing you could do in Photoshop editing.
So this would be a good place to look.
Pick up the rock. He'll pick up the rock. He'll throw it. You see the rock flying through the trees in the lower right-hand corner. And then it rolls down the fucking hill. A Bigfoot on camera trying to distract us. A Bigfoot tries to distract us. A Bigfoot on camera right there trying to distract us. Even though the dude on camera operating it picks up the fucking rock, lower right-hand corner right there, flying through the trees. He's watching it roll down the fucking hill and then says, then they have the balls to post a Bigfoot trying to distract us on camera. I think this rock thrower is probably the individual that likes to throw rocks on camera and likes to get caught throwing rocks on camera. I'm just gonna put it out there. I don't know. I can't see who that rock thrower is, but the one guy who got caught throwing a rock behind him on camera because the camera shook. Probably the same dude. I think he just likes to throw rocks and then claim a Bigfoot did it. So that's what we're dealing with. A channel like that who's gets 30,000 views and stuff on their videos, and their shorts get a lot. They have a lot of subscribers, and they get a lot of donations, and then they got a lot of equipment, some interesting equipment, I would just say. Money that they bought it, used it once. I really haven't seen it again. They have a lot of videos of eye shine and stuff, of deer. I don't know if anyone's been out in the woods and sees eye shine with IR of a deer, but deer's head movement and how deer do stuff, kind of universal. A Bigfoot eye shine and a head movement is not going to replicate what a fucking deer does. And you'll see it on their videos. You'll see, I guess, because these guys are just too funny. I think I have the videos of it. Oh, I might have deleted it. Yep, I deleted the videos of them hearing an owl call, and in a legit owl call, and they're saying it's a Bigfoot. The one dude tries not to crack a smile, and yet they're professional. They have all these subscribers and people who support them or donating to them, who either can't see the hoax, can't see the act, or don't want to see it, or they are the small group of community members who are too slow to understand the shenanigans being pulled over them. So you can watch the Squatch Watchers. We have another clip right here where they can't tell the difference between a guy walking and a skinwalker. So you have, this is the video. That's it. You have a dude with a white shirt on walking behind a fence row. And so from this little bit of information that we can see, well, that's a transforming skinwalker right there. And we will even hear it from one of the Squatch Watchers himself. And notice his face. Notice his micro reactions as he says it. He doesn't even believe the bullshit he even fucking says. Like, but they're presenting it as fact.
So
They're
this
hoaxing
video
it.
was sent to us from South Carolina. I know it's not much, but could it possibly be a Bigfoot or a shape-shifting skinwalker? I don't know. You be the judge. Let us know in the comments.
Oh, and I think we will judge. And we will judge you by what you put out and the information that you put out and how you go about putting it out, the reactions that you put out with it. And we will judge it as bullshit. You don't know. You don't know. You don't have enough common fucking sense to look at that video. You don't know if that's a skinwalker transforming or a Bigfoot hopscotching across there or just a dude in a white gray shirt just walking out there. You don't have the common sense to just say, you know what? The video is inconclusive. I don't know what it is. But it certainly isn't a transforming skinwalker. That's kind of get that money, that hype, that donations. That's why you see their merch. You buy a fucking hat for like $21 or something, let alone their shirts and sweaters and purses and whatever else stuff they got. But they don't know what they're looking at. They don't know a fucking deer. They don't know this. If this is a skinwalker transforming, they don't know if it's deer. They don't know if it's photograph evidence. They don't know if they don't know owl calls. They don't know what eye shine is. They hear coyotes. Plenty of times they've heard coyotes. It's just regular, everyday coyote calls. Coyote calls, they're yipping. Oh, it's a Bigfoot in there. You hear it? And then they call back. Or I've literally heard them make a coyote call. Like a coyote hunter would make this call to another coyote or a coyote out in the field before he shoots them to get the coyote to stop. They make this call back at the coyotes to get their response, and they're claiming that it's Bigfoot. Like, it is delusion, and it's almost fantasy. So, like, they're out there not believing the Kool-Aid. They're hoaxing. But there are some people who will have that same interaction that the Sasquatchers do, call back to the coyotes, and then when they say it's a Bigfoot calling back to them, they will honestly believe it. Now, these Squatch Watchers, I think they know better. I think these guys are Southern guys, right? They're outdoorsmen, probably hunted once or twice in their life. You know, I know because I see them cracking smiles that they know what owl sounds like. That it's not a Bigfoot. They know what coyotes sound like. It's not a Bigfoot. But yet they will present it as Bigfoot. They will not smirk and yet fake people out because people look at these guys, see that they're going out there, whether or not they can tell it's bullshit or not, but they're trusting these people and they trust the information that they get from the people. So when all the information is bad and you are doing exactly what these guys are doing and hooting and hollering and doing all sorts of wackiness, and now you're going to go out there with a real Bigfoot who's cranky. You don't know what you're doing, man. You have no idea. You're being influenced by, you're learning stuff from people it's a hoax, it's fake, it's not legitimate, it's dangerous because these guys don't really, who knows if they even believe in Bigfoot or not. They can't tell the difference between normal animals, so it doesn't really matter, or they do know and they're just faking it, on purpose. It's not reliable. You can't learn anything from them, and you don't want to learn anything from them. And these are the people who Hooting is a gateway drug to holler. Yeah, that is right. That is right. That should be a slogan for our community. That is right. And then yes, this is very true. If anyone who has rock skin thrown at them, where they won't even try to find the very rock to see if there's DNA, right? But I have shown a clip last week or the week before of them finding hair. They had hair in a bag, and what did the dude do? He grabbed it, put it on his head, put it on his other hand, and sniffed it. Oh yeah, yeah. They weren't worried about getting a DNA tested and all that. No, they grabbed the chunk of hair, put it on the other. Might as well just went like this, and spat in it. I just put it up my nose and just sniff it. They're not professional. It's a joke to them. I think they get a kick out of it, and I think they think it's wonderful that not only can they just fake all this stuff, I think it's fucking hilarious that they're able to trick all these dumb Bigfooters, but they're getting money. People are donating to them. It's going to bite them in the ass, especially if it's so nefarious and they're making fun of all these people who are donating to them. That kind of karma is not good karma to have come back at you. And these guys can't last long. If these guys are here for five years and stuff, like, I will be amazed. I will be concerned about our community and concerned about humanity in general, because how can we compete with this stuff? How can real researchers compete with these guys who just, go out there and have a good time and make believe and production, little editing to make it a little bit better. They have a good cast member group going on, right? Some individuals with some personality you get hooked on. How can individuals who are just about the research compete with that when we're finding real legit stuff that doesn't happen all the time? Every time I go out, shit don't happen. You haven't had, compared to shit happens all the fucking time with these guys. Every single time they go, every live stream they have, something happens. How can we compete with that when they can make content any single time and it could be embellished, it could be epic, it could be like storytelling, and then they go out and they have some mini documentaries of interviewing people who might have real encounters. And so that makes them seem a little bit more legit because they're interviewing people who had real encounters, right? And so people believe them because of that. Maybe they pay people to make up stories too. You don't know. I don't know. Who knows? They don't fucking care. They don't care. It's funny to them. How can we compete with this and outshine them as, being legit resources and information that people need to find? Is it because we're not doing enough shorts? Is that what I need to do? Go through all my videos and cut up snippets, 1 minute shorts? Will that give me 1 minute, guys? 1 minute. All right, that I don't know if you guys heard that or not, but that is my son. He's sleeping and stuff. He woke up a little bit, and he stayed up right before the show got on and stuff. So he's pretty tuckered out. But woke up, I was asleep, and he asked for a cookie. Must be dreaming about his hands in the cookie jar. And it's so funny. So love it. I love being a dad. experiencing everything that it comes with being a dad. It is truly one of life's most fulfilling experiences that anyone can go through, any man can go through. Yeah, take it easy. You too. Now I'll be getting a hold of you here too. Need to plan some Michigan stuff. See, 2 hours. I probably am going to be shutting the show down. I don't want to get him all woke up and rattled up and stuff. Want to let him sleep. I think we covered most of the stuff that I was going to talk about actually and address. Went through all the videos. Bashed on the Squatch Watchers again because they have so much stuff that they put out and so much junk that they are the people we need to call out, not individuals who just are mentally not there, mentally slow. You can't help it. They can't tell the difference between shadows and leaves. They can't tell the difference between photographs that they mixed up between another person and themselves and they post. They really can't tell their facts from, their facts are facts. I think Brent said it in his update video, like, their facts are facts type of thing. Like they believe everything they're drinking. And some people who are slower than others, who the Bigfoot community is their only community, you could shatter their reality into a bazillion pieces and really destroy an actual human on the other side of the screen, on the other side of what you're viewing. No one deserves that, obviously. The Squatch Watchers, well, fuck them. I don't like them. And tough shit. Bad karma's coming to them, That's how I feel. I feel like real pieces of shit, if they get destroyed, whatever. But honestly, nice people who just slow, it's not okay. So with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I appreciate everyone for joining in and stuff, taking it easy, and be back for you next week. Hopefully have a little bit of other pieces of evidence and photographs and footage that we'll be showing personally and stuff. I got some audio and some stuff from the 168 actually that I will be putting out, the first person to put it out. So we got some stuff lined up for that, some audio, and I've been working on, still have a lot to work on, but some stuff stuff that has not been seen before, basically. So, but no new piece of evidence of Bigfoot, but there are some interesting sounds that are interesting, I guess. I'm not going to say that they're Bigfoot, but there are some interesting sounds we got while out in the 168 area during the 168 that week. So everyone look forward for that, and check out all the different channels in the chat. They're all good people and stuff. You might not agree with the opinions of everyone in my chat and stuff, but I think everyone is doing some good work in their own ways, and I don't agree with everyone and everything everyone always puts out, but there's a lot of good stuff that I think a lot of people need to see and need to have open mind about. Even when it comes to researchers, they might not fully agree with, just because they go about it a little differently. Not the Kool-Aid drinking people. I'm talking about the real researchers who just have different sets of opinion, different ways about going about stuff. All right, so without further ado, may God bless you and your family and keep you guys safe, and catch you on the flip side.